This is Bangarang Radio, a podcast network. For more shows, visit bangarangradio.com.
I'm going out, I gotta go. I'll bangarang on the radio. So turn it up, I'm telling you. I think I'm ready for something new. Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza. Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza. You're listening to Pop Punk and Pizza on Bangarang Radio.
All right, well, here we are. Welcome to Pop Punk and Pizza, episode 6. Wow. So I've been doing this for 6 weeks already because we put out a new episode every single Tuesday. I'm your host, Jacques LaMore. Thank you so much for tuning in. And usually every episode so far, anyway, except for this one, I've had a special guest on the show. Usually I bring someone on from the pop punk community to talk about pop punk. And, well, we enjoy pizza at the same time as we talk about these things. But today I'm going to do something a little different. We don't have a special guest today, which I'm a little scared about doing a show without a guest, but at the same time, just trying something different just to see how it goes. But we got plenty of things to talk about, my friend. So many things have happened in the last week or so in the pop punk genre that we can talk about in pop punk news. And, of course, I'll have my pop punk picks of the week for you as well. And then I'm going to talk about Green Day's performance in Chicago just a couple days ago. If you're watching this on Tuesday, October 25th, 2016, they were just in Chicago on Sunday. And I was there. So we're going to talk about that. And so that's pretty much going to be the basis of the show. So I just want to welcome you and thank you for listening to Pop Punk and Pizza here on bangarangradio.com. And let us now get into, pop punk news. And so these are some of the stories from the past week. News team, assemble!
It's this week's Pop Punk and Pizza News.
All right, so here are some of the big things that have happened in pop punk in the last week. Now, this isn't obviously everything, but it's just a couple of things to throw out there for you. To start it out with, why don't we start off with Blink-182? What have they been up to? Well, in case you missed it, they put out a music video for She's Out of Her Mind, which I was really glad that they did, because She's Out of Her Mind is probably my favorite song from the California record that came out this year. It gets stuck in my head all the time. I'll be doing something that's completely unrelated to music, and it gets stuck in my head. It's just one of those songs. So they decided, instead of coming up with a new music video idea for She's Out of Her Mind, they decided to be, nostalgic with it. And they went ahead and they recreated the same concept for What's My Age Again. Now, if you remember the music video for that, which how could you forget? I mean, it's one of those unforgettable moments. How often do you see people in music videos running around and naked in a downtown area? So that's what they did. Instead, though, it wasn't the guys from Blink-182 that decided, hey, we're going to run around naked downtown. They took girls in their place instead. Now, all three of the girls are actually social media stars, which I did not recognize any of them. And, of course, they're gorgeous. But their names are Lily Pons, Hannah Stocking, and Genta. And I guess I forgot to write Genta's name, her last name down. But anyway, gorgeous women. They all decided to play the role. And, of course, who played the sexy nurse this time? You all remember the sexy nurse from the original music video for What's My Age Again? So they put a twist on that as well. Instead of it being a woman, they obviously have to make it a guy, since the three people running around naked are women. So they decided to get comedian Adam Devine in on this, and he was the sexy nurse, which made me laugh. So this video is just pure nostalgia, and it was part of a Spotify's Flash Frame series is what it's called. And this is a 4-part series they're doing on Blink-182, and part 1 just dropped this past Thursday on October 20th. My source for this was Rolling Stone magazine, by the way. So there's that. Speaking of Blink-182, all right, Tom DeLonge spoke up about the leaked UFO emails to Hillary Clinton advisor that were found. If you remember, about a week or two ago, former Blink-182 member Tom DeLonge was revealed to have emailed Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign chairman, John Podesta, I believe is how you pronounce his name. Apologize if I mispronounce that. About aliens. Now, WikiLeaks found that the guitarist and vocalist had invited Barack Obama's former counselor to the president to meet with two people who were in charge of most fragile divisions as it relates to classified science and DoD, which Department of Defense topics. Now, via a caption on Instagram, DeLonge says WikiLeaks, which shared the emails, really messed up some important stuff. And that this isn't a joke, is what he says. Big things are coming, he concludes. Project is still on. Believe it or not, things just got bigger. So this is interesting. Now, if you didn't hear about all this UFO talk and Tom DeLonge before, earlier this year, DeLonge took to Facebook to discount the idea that he quit Blink-182 to study UFOs. But he did write, I am currently working with people in the government, let me rephrase that. He wrote, am I currently working with people in the government? He's, kind of asking a question. Yes, he says, including leadership from DoD, intelligence, and executive branch? Yes. Take that as you will. That article comes from Fuse TV for that, so I definitely want to credit my sources. I don't want to get in trouble here, but anyway. So you got that going on as far as Blink-182. Now let's jump into something completely different. Sparrow Sleeps, all right, put out a Toddler Tunes album featuring members of Yellowcard, Real Friends, MXPX, and more. I thought this was really cute, a really cool idea. Now, if you've never heard of Sparrow Sleeps, which this is the first time I heard it too when I found out about this recent release. Simply put, this comes from a Sparrow Sleeps website. Sparrow Sleeps crafts lullaby renditions of your favorite songs. The Sparrow Sleeps team is two Midwestern guys with pop-punk-fueled hearts and a shared passion for creating businesses around the things they love to do. Their founders are named Casey Cole, and Peter Lockhart. And they've got all kinds of, they got Say Anything lullabies, they've got My Chemical Romance lullabies, they got quite a few albums on catalog of different lullabies that they've done. But they decided to get a little older with this latest release. It's actually, like I said, it's for toddlers, it's not for infants. So this record is called Sparrow and Friends Start a Band, and it features, you got Ryan Key from Yellowcard, Dan Lampton of Real Friends, Mike Herrera of MXPX, you got Nick Diner of the Swellers, Will from Cartel, and there's so many more. Now, if you're interested in getting this for your kid, or maybe, a niece or a nephew, or whoever the little one is in your family, it's available on vinyl, CD, and digital download. You can get it at sparrowsleeps.com. I'm not sure, I didn't check to see if it was on iTunes, but I listened to the previews of most of the songs, like of Mike Herrera of MXPX, and also Ryan Key. And the songs are cool, and very, very fitting, obviously, for toddlers. They're all rockin' tunes, too. They sound like anything that you and I would listen to. They're just, obviously, the lyrics are based on a toddler level. So I thought that was pretty cool. So check that out. It's sparrowsleeps.com. Get some lullabies and get some toddler rockin' tunes, right? Now, I mentioned Real Friends. Speaking of Real Friends and Knuckle Puck, members of both bands released a new acoustic song on their pop-punk side project, which I didn't even know they had a side project until I read this article from Alternative Press. Now, Rationale, like I said, the pop-punk supergroup made up of Real Friends and Knuckle Puck vocalist Dan Lampton and Joe Taylor, and also other people, are releasing an acoustic EP to follow up their debut EP called Confines. Now, on their Bandcamp page, it says, we wanted to do a cool EP where we record each part wherever we can, be it a venue bathroom, green room, trailers, and to have our friends be a part of it. We're going to complete and post one song a week and pre-order it, and you'll get all the songs when they're all up. So the song is called Quarter Life, or you can pre-order the EP if you visit their Bandcamp, you can listen to it there, or the new single that they posted, or pre-order the EP. The website is rationalesucks.bandcamp.com. I love it when bands say they suck as like a joke. It doesn't suck. I thought it was great. But anyway, rationalesucks.bandcamp.com. Check it out. As I said, the story comes from Alternative Press. All right, and the last thing I want to talk about, which this is probably the hottest story of the week, in my opinion, in the pop-punk community, is Knuckle Puck called out YouTuber Jarrod Alonge for selling selling a T-shirt that parodied their name and album. Now, Jarrod Alonge, I believe is how you say his name. It's Alonge. Excuse me, Jarrod Alonge. He's best known for YouTube videos that are called, you remember the every pop-punk vocalist and every metal vocalist videos, making fun of the pop-punk vocalists and metal vocalists. It's just kind of like the stereotypes and things like that. I know that every pop-punk video has over 1.5 million views, and the other ones are like over 500,000. Some are even close to 1 million as well. I know the metal one is probably around 700,000 views, something like that. But anyway, last week Jarrod, he uploaded a shirt to his website saying, "Knuckle Puck, everything is phonetic," or phonetic, excuse me. Everything is phonetic. It's so phonetic. It's inspired by the band pronunciation video, like I said, he published to YouTube in 2014. He lists a bunch of different bands and how to pronounce their names, and of course he pronounces them wrong and tries to be funny and says them, like, for instance, Knuckle Puck. It's obviously Knuckle Puck. Anyway, so Knuckle Puck's John and Joe, they responded to Jarrod's new merch, showing that it is a direct comparison to the group's own merch and creative design. And then Jarrod responded with a YouTube video to explain his side of the issue, claiming it all revolves around satire. Now, in the video, he says his take on the shirt is a parody, meaning he is avoiding trademark infringement because it's simply inspired by the original work. He then compares it to the PlayStation shirt logo that Knuckle Puck released earlier this year. However, Knuckle Puck sees this as more than a simple parody. In their eyes, Jarrod is using Knuckle Puck's name and ripping off their lyrics to make money. While Jarrod brings up the example of Knuckle Puck's PlayStation t-shirt, they see it as it standing on different standards. Now, PlayStation does not make shirts for profit, so Knuckle Puck tees would not directly hinder PlayStation making money, which that is true. They got a good point there. But Jarrod's shirt is based on an already produced Knuckle Puck merchandise. There is a direct selling conflict which could affect sales, which I'm kind of... I get what Knuckle Puck is saying, and I get what Jarrod is saying too. So I don't want to pick a side on this one. I think they got in a real big Twitter battle on this, by the way. Joe and John and Jarrod. Actually, even Dan Lampton from Real Friends buzzed in on this too on Twitter. They were saying some nasty things about Jarrod. I don't think it was a good move on Jarrod's part. I think he probably should have stayed away from it. But I think maybe Knuckle Puck's reaction might have affected the way they look too, because seeing some people's comments about it, they're like, "Oh, come on, just leave it alone," So I think the way that Knuckle Puck reacted to this is going to increase Jarrod's t-shirt sales. That's my opinion. So I think Jarrod ended up kind of winning as far as, getting more money from Knuckle Puck, which, like I said, I can totally see Knuckle Puck's side of this on how Jarrod is making money off of them, and it's not like they're U2 or some huge mainstream band that has millions and millions and millions of dollars, and this isn't going to hurt them. So I could totally see that, because people might buy this Knuckle Puck, shirt instead of buying a Knuckle Puck shirt or a record or whatever. So I definitely see where Knuckle Puck is coming from. I see where Jarrod is coming from, and I will leave it at that. So another wonderful story from Alternative Press. So those are just some stories in the pop punk community that happened this past week. So let's And with that being said, let's move on to the main event, the main thing I wanted to talk about today.
Get my kicks and my heart inside a rage. I wanna dance like I'm on the video. I gotta be before violent behavior. I'm sweating bullets like I'm on the Romeo.
I've seen Green Day 3 times previously. The first time I saw them was on the American Idiot Tour back in 2005. Second, 2009 on the 21st Century Breakdown Tour. Then the third time was just their last record releases, Uno, Dos, Tres, the trilogy. And that was 3 years ago. That was in 2013. And then obviously I saw them at Aragon Ballroom just 2 or 3 nights ago, depending on obviously when you're listening to this. So that makes 4 times total, and hands down, this last time, the best time I'd ever seen them. The best time I ever heard them. They were so tight. Everything was amazing. They were amazing before, too, like on the American Idiot Tour. I thought they were so tight. 21st Century Breakdown, same thing, really good. But for some reason, this last show, it was just the best. I can't explain it. I'll try to explain it to you. Just starting with the set list. They played like 31 songs total on Sunday night, and they started off. This was what I was surprised by. I'll be honest, was that they opened up with "Know Your Enemy." I was not expecting that. I thought, okay, maybe they'll open up with either something from Revolution Radio, or maybe American Idiot is what I was going for. I wasn't expecting, Know Your Enemy. So they start out with Know Your Enemy, then they go into Bang Bang and Revolution Radio, which are from their latest record, obviously. Then they dip into the American Idiot record. They go to Holiday, Letter Bomb, and Boulevard of Broken Dreams. And it's kind of funny how, like, those first 6 songs from their set are kind of like the more politically fueled or socially fueled songs. But after, they get done with Boulevard of Broken Dreams, they jump into Longview, of course, so they're going back to the Dookie days. And then after Longview, they go quickly back to Revolution Radio, and they just do Young Blood, which, in my opinion, Young Blood is probably one of the more fun songs on Revolution Radio. It doesn't have like a really heavy topic. It's kind of like a fun song. Gets stuck in your head. The hook the hook gets immediately stuck in your head when you hear the song. So that was interesting because they just played that song and then they immediately went back into old stuff. Now this was the one that I was floored to hear. Armitage Shanks is the first record, or the first song from their Insomniac record from '95. Now that is a song I have never heard live, and I've always wanted to hear live. Insomniac, it's hard to pick a favorite Green Day record, but that's definitely one of my favorite records. It's just nonstop punk rock, the whole record. Very angry, very, upbeat and in your face, obviously. So that was really surprising to hear. There was about 4 or 5 songs, maybe more throughout their set, that I had never heard live. I've never heard them play live at any show that I've attended, and that was one of them. So after playing the first song from Insomniac, they went to Kerplunk, and they played another one that I haven't heard, Private Ale, and then they they played JAR, which was a song from their greatest hits record, their international super hits, I think is what they called it. They put out in 2011, and they released a couple songs on there that hadn't been released on any of their records, and JAR was one of them. And then Maria was another one. Pop Rocks and Coke. I think it was those 3 songs. You can't find on any other record. They're kind of like B-sides, I guess you could say. And I've heard them play Maria live. I think it was on the American Idiot tour. Maybe it was maybe they played Pop Rocks and Coke. I can't remember. After JAR, they jumped to 2,000 Light Years Away, back to Kerplunk. Welcome to Paradise after that, Christie Road. So going back to their Kerplunk days. And then they did Burnout. And then I was really shocked after they played Burnout. They jumped to Nimrod, and they played a song, once again, that I had not heard live, Scattered. Never thought in a million years that I would hear Scattered live. So that was super cool. And then they continued with Nimrod. They played Hitchin' a Ride. And then they jumped to Warning, and they played Waiting. Now, Waiting I haven't heard in a long time, so it was good to hear that. Then they played Are We the Waiting? They from American Idiot, they jumped to that. And, of course, anytime they play Are We the Waiting, they immediately go into St. Jimmy. And then they went back to Dookie, and this was cool. They pulled up, and they did their classic bits. You know, they throughout the set, they pulled up 3 people on stage. Not all at once, but, you know, throughout their set. The third time they did it was when they played When I Come Around. They pulled up a guy that was in the pit. Apparently, he said he could play all the songs on Dookie. And, you know, Billy's like, can you really play all the songs on Dookie? You swear? You know? So he brings the guy up, and he just kills it. And then they play Basket Case and She, also from Dookie. Then they go for back to Nimrod, King for a Day. They do their classic King for a Day bit that they've been doing for years now, because they did it. I think they started doing that King for a Day bit where they obviously have Jason Freeze play saxophone. They used to actually have a trombone player on tour with them. I don't know what happened to him, or maybe he was a trumpet player. They used to have a horn player. It was either a trombonist or a trumpet player. I wish I could remember. But anyway, they've been doing that bit for years, because when I saw them back for the first time in 2005, they were still doing it, and I think they started it probably around 2002, something like that, maybe even before. But anyway, so that was fun. It was a little different than they used to do it, but still basically, the same thing. And after King for a Day, they usually do their Shout cover from the Isley Brothers. Then they played Still Breathing from their latest record, Revolution Radio, which I was happy. It wasn't as tight as some of the other songs, but it's a brand new one, obviously. So you're not going to hear, it's not going to be as tight because they haven't played it as many times. And then they played Forever Now, also from Rev Radio. And then they did their encore. They came back, and you got to play some more American Idiot songs, so they played the title track and played Jesus Suburbia. And then they had a second encore. Billy comes back out, and he's always got to come out and play some acoustic songs. So he played Ordinary World from Revolution Radio. Also, Ordinary World is the name of a movie that Billy Joe is in. Came out not too long ago. I've talked about it on the podcast several times. And I did get to watch Ordinary World. I thought it was really good, honestly. I highly suggest checking it out. Billy Joe is, he plays the lead character in it. You can rent it or buy it on iTunes and Google Play and all those places. I'm not sure if you can get a hard copy of it. You might be able to, but I just rented it through Google Play and, watched it and thought it was good. And, of course, you got to end a Green Day show with Good Riddance. But all in all, this show was exactly what any diehard Green Day fan would want, in my opinion. Because, like I said, I haven't seen them as many times as I'd like to, but granted, there was at least 4 to 6 songs that were old songs that I had never heard them play live before, and I never thought they would ever play live, like Scattered, for instance, from Nimrod. So it was, when you heard songs like that, you were just like, oh my God, this is awesome. It's just, they played literally at least one song from every one of their records, except for their very, very first record, and then their last releases, Uno Dos Tres. They did not play anything from Uno Dos Tres, which I suppose isn't surprising considering they didn't get a lot of support for those records they released in 2012. A lot of people didn't like them. I personally loved them. I loved each one. And I think they could have played at least one of them from, like, Uno. Like, they could have played, like, Stay the Night or something. I think that would have been great. But they chose not to. So I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, maybe if you catch them on another show on this tour, or maybe their next Revolution Radio tour, which is going to be in March, by the way, maybe they'll play something from Uno Dos Tres, which I really hope they do. But yeah, I mean, to really just to summarize it, it's exactly, the show was perfect for any diehard Green Day fan. If you mostly just know the singles and stuff, I think you would have been a little disappointed because they did break out so many songs that I think even some people in the audience were like, "What's this?" It was just really cool. I can't, and they still opened up the show with the classic rock and punk songs, before they actually hit the stage. That's they're playing like Operation Ivy and then, Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. This is before they come on. And then, yes, they did have the Drunk Bunny come out. They continued that tradition. How could they not? He comes out and he stumbles around and he gets the crowd pumped with the Blitzkrieg Bop by Ramones. So that was cool. And also, probably the last thing I'll say is I was really excited for the first time to see Green Day in a smaller venue. This is the first time that I wasn't going to see them at some kind of arena where it's like 20,000, 30,000 cap, where this was the Aragon Ballroom in Chicago. It's 5,000 people cap, which is obviously still a big room, but that's a lot smaller compared to 20, 25,000, 30,000 people, whatever it is, because I had previously seen them at the Allstate Arena, United Center, and then another arena out in Moline, Illinois. So it was just cool to see them in that smaller setting. It was more intimate, and I feel like they could get a little more personal with the fans. Speaking of getting personal, obviously Billy Joe in recent years, he would be very political at his shows. This one, he didn't get so political. There was a touch of it, but his main message throughout the night, if you just want to recap some of the things he said, it was just kind of like more love and rock and roll was pretty much kind of like his message. And he was talking about how he was tired of everything that's going on in the media and in the mainstream world. I mean, he called out Trump during Holiday, which he had been doing, I think, on all the Revolution Radio shows before. He did not come out and say, vote for Hillary, though, either. So I'm just guessing, he's not a Hillary fan either. And I think most people aren't. They're not a fan of either Trump or Hillary. It's going to be interesting to see how the election works out. But anyway, not to get too political, just wanted to touch on that and just kind of like some of the things Billy Joe said. I don't want to quote him, but I think that was really his main message, is just more love, caring for each other, and obviously good rock and roll music. So, you probably just heard my clock. I have a Three Stooges clock over in the corner over there, and every time, at the top of the hour, it sounds off with some Three Stooges soundbite. Anyway, so, yeah, it's so hard to summarize that show because it was so good, but I highly suggest checking out Green Day on the Revolution, listen to me, on their Revolution Radio tour. If you can't see anything here in 2016, they just announced a plethora of dates for 2017. I know they're coming back to Illinois, except they're playing down in Champaign at the State Farm Center, which is right there on the campus of U of I. Used to be called the Assembly Hall. but now it's called State Farm Center. So you can get all the info. Go to greenday.com, obviously, and get your tickets for that. But yeah, that's in March. So yeah, be sure to I highly suggest checking them live. It's, like I said, the best I've ever seen them. So, and that's coming from a diehard fan. I've been following them for a long time, ever since I could remember. I was like probably 8 years old. I've been listening, and I'm 26 now. So there you have it. And before we go, I gotta find. Let's see. There we go. Sorry, my notes are a mess. Okay, so before I leave you, I always do my pop punk picks of the week, and it's just the songs that I'm currently digging this week, or the bands that I'm digging this week that maybe put out new music, and actually some of these have. So let's get on with it.
Pop punk picks of the week.
3, 2, 1.
All right, so my pop punk picks of the week, since I don't have a special guest, usually I have my special guest pick one song from one band, and then I'll pick one. But I'm just going to give you two this time. And I've talked about this in other podcasts before. Chicago right now is just exploding with so many awesome pop punk bands. And honestly, not even just pop punk bands, but music in general. There's awesome metal bands. Pretty much any genre, you can find fantastic artists in Chicago. So much talent happening right now in the scene. But both of my picks are actually Chicago bands. And it was hard to pick these, like I said, because there's so many bands just around the world. But first one is Sleep On It. They just released their new EP called Lost Along the Way, which came out from Equal Vision Records. They just signed a deal with them. And you can visit sleeponit.merchnow.com to get that brand new EP. So yeah, just this last Friday, they put out the brand new record, Lost Along the Way, like I said, is what it's called. And they put out a brand new single and a music video to go along with it. It's called See You Around. So that's what we're going to listen to and watch right now here on Pop Punk and Pizza on bangarangradio.com. See You Around by Sleep On It. Okay, that was See You Around, Sleep On It, right here on Pop Punk and Pizza on bangarangradio.com. That's from their brand new EP called Lost Along the Way, just came out just this past Friday from Equal Vision Records. Once again, sleeponit.merchnow.com to get your copy today. And my next pick, and my last pick, Pop Punk Pick of the Week, is another Chicago-based band called the Linden Method. Now, they put out a brand new record as well, except not this last Friday. It was last month, and I wanted to play it on the show earlier, but it's every week. It's so hard to pick who I'm currently listening to because there's always someone new, and there's so many great pop punk bands out there. So this brand new record was called Good Enough, and you can find it on iTunes, Spotify, and Amazon. I couldn't find any direct link to it. I could have gave you their Bandcamp link, but they don't have the brand new record on the Bandcamp link. But anyway, new album's called Good Enough, and actually their single called Believing in Fiction, it just got played on 101.1 FM, which is WKQX in Chicago. It's the alternative station, so they got played on there. They have like a local music show. I think it's still every Sunday, and they're, like I said, their single Believing in Fiction got played. So that's what we're going to play right now. The Linden Method, Believing in Fiction, right here on Pop Punk and Pizza on bangarangradio.com.
It's strange how I'm believing in fiction. I guess I never comprehended what everyone was saying. I think I'm wrong, I think you're right. I think of all those times I couldn't sleep at night, and you never gave up, and I never gave in. So hold on to your words.
All right, there you have it. Believing in Fiction by the Linden Method here on Pop Punk and Pizza on BangarangRadio.com. That's from their latest record called Good Enough. You can find it on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, etc. And you got to check out the album artwork for that album, by the way. It's hilarious. It's like this kid with this huge bowl of cereal. I think it's Fruit Loops. And he's just pouring the milk into the bowl of cereal, but it's all overflown. And overflowing. There we go. And he's got like the backwards ball cap on and everything. I don't know. To me, it's just very punk rock of them to have an album cover like that. So make sure you check out the Linden Method and also Sleep on It. Don't forget to check them out as well. They're, like I said, their brand new EP, Lost Along the Way, that just came out. So, I mean, that's going to be it for this episode of Pop Punk and Pizza. Thank you so much for watching or listening. I am Jacques LaMore, your host, and I'll be back next week for another episode for you. I do have a couple things I want to tell you before we do go. I want you to first, please, if you could, follow us on social media. You can find Pop Punk and Pizza Podcast on Instagram. Also, follow us on Twitter at Pop Punk and Pizza Pod. And, of course, Bangarang Radio, of course. That is the network that we're part of. You can follow them at Bangarang Radio. Also find both Bangarang Radio and Pop Punk and Pizza on Facebook as well. And we are now officially, not only can you find episodes of Pop Punk and Pizza on iTunes, Stitcher, those two apps, you can now find it on the TuneIn Radio app, which I'm sure you probably have. Most people do, because on the TuneIn Radio app, you can tune in to literally any radio station in the country, in the world, or you can listen to any podcasts, stuff like that. So check us out if that works better for you than going to bangarangradio.com or iTunes or Stitcher. You can now find everything actually Bangarang Radio does. You can find on the TuneIn Radio app. So, and also if you can follow me at On Air with JJ on Twitter. I would love to connect with you. And also, if you want to be a special guest on the show, or if you're in a pop-punk band and you want your music played on the show, by all means, shoot me an email at bangarangradio@gmail.com. So that's all you got to do. Music submission. I'm always looking for guests, too, so that's cool. And yeah, if you're watching this before Halloween, have a very happy Halloween. Oh, one more thing. I'm sorry, before I say goodbye, speaking of Halloween, there's a brand new show coming to bangarangradio.com. It's called the Creep Show Horror Club Podcast, and it's put on by two awesome dudes, Mark and Gary Weissman, and it's premiering, actually, on Halloween on bangarangradio.com, so make sure you check that out. I'm super stoked to be welcoming them to the Bangarang Radio network, so I'll be sure to check that out. First episode on Halloween. And I think they're going to be doing a bi-weekly show. But either way, I'm super stoked to have them on the network. But anyway, Jacques LaMore here for Pop Punk and Pizza. Thank you so much again for listening and watching. And hopefully you'll be back next week. Happy Halloween.
Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza. Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza.